Hello guys, this is Gio from Lockpickers United. Today we are gonna talk about the famous ASA gene and Christmas tree spools. These security pins are notorious for being extremely hard to pick, even for advanced lockpickers. In this video I'm gonna show you how to defeat those genes and Christmas tree spools. If you're an advanced lockpicker wanting to learn some new tricks, or even just a beginner wanting to see what's out there, this video is made for you. After this video, you will have all the tools to defeat extremely hard locks such as the ASA 700 or the ASA 6K. I hope you will enjoy. So this is a gin spool. We call them gin because they look like a bottle of gin. As you can see, the spool part of the pin is located at the bottom. The main part of the pin is followed by a reduced neck, here, and then by a tip which has a slightly smaller diameter than the main part of the pin. In order to balance the pin stack in a lock, the size of the gin will vary depending on the size of the key pin it is coupled with. For example, here we have a small gin. It will be coupled with a long key pin. Previously we saw a long gin, which is coupled with a short key pin. Next, we have the Christmas tree spool. It is essentially similar to the gin spool, but with another spool element in the middle. Gin spools may be found in ASA Twin 6K, old version of the ASA Twin V10, ASA 500, ASA 600, and ASA 700. As far as I know, you can only find Christmas tree gins in ASA 700, but I may be wrong. Now, from there, those pins don't look very difficult to pick. I'm pretty sure you have seen far worse homemade security pins from Challenge Lock, so you may assume they are easy to pick at first glance. If the plug of the lock has standard chambers, that will be totally true. However, in most cases, the chambers are countermilled. This means the top of the chambers have a small cutout, where the tip of the gin fits almost perfectly. The tip of the gin fits so well in the countermilling, it's impossible to get it out, even by pushing extremely hard on it. Moreover, you won't feel any counter rotation from it. For example, here I am pushing as much as I can on the pin and nothing happens. I can even remove my hand from the tensioner and you can see the plug does not move. Basically, if the pin is stuck in the countermilling, there is absolutely nothing you can do. Or not. The only way to pick the gin spools out of the countermilling is to perform an advanced picking technique called float picking. The term was coined by Huxleypig, the guy who eats alloy locks for breakfast. If you don't know him, I suggest you to watch his videos on YouTube. Basically, float picking consists of manually counter-rotating the plug in order to free the tip of the gin from the countermilling and then setting it. This technique is hard to pull off because there is only a very small sweet spot where you are able to set the gin but not drop all the pins or gins you already set previously. Before showing you how to do float picking, you need to know the three states a gin spool can be in the lock. The first state is when the main part of the gin spool is binding. Like for any other pins, the gin will give you a little bit of resistance when you push on it. The second state is when the main part of the gin is above shear line and the tip is stuck in the countermilling. When all the gins are in this state, the lock will enter a false set. The third state is when the gin spool is completely above shear line. So that's what you want. Something important to note, if the key pin is very long, the gin spool will be in the second state already. If, during the picking process, you are not sure if a pin is set or not, you can use the jiggle test. If the gin is still stuck in the countermilling, you can feel it going up and down with your pick if you release a tiny bit of tension. You won't feel anything with your pick if the pin is set. Now on to learning float picking. There are two kinds of float picking. There is true float picking, which is hard to pull off, and there is assisted float picking, which is in my opinion slightly easier. Let's start with assisted float picking. I say assisted because you are not actually counter-rotating the plug yourself to free the jeans from the countermailing. The lock is doing it for you. This can only be done on locks with a sprung sidebar, the Asatwin 6000 being the most famous. So, once you pick the sidebar spring pressure causes the plug to counter-rotate if you release tension. You can easily control the counter-rotation of the plug by carefully adjusting your tension until the plug has rotated back enough to free the jean spools from the countermailing. Be careful, however, if you let the plug counter-rotate too far, it is likely you will drop the sidebar finger pin and have to pick them all over again. You probably won't know when the plug has rotated back enough to free the jeans. Therefore, you need to continually gently tapping on the jeans during this process until you set it. Of course, there will be a binding order for the jean tips, so don't be surprised if you drop some as you set one. Okay, now let's do this together. So this is an Asatwin 6000, which I only put one jean and removed all finger pins to facilitate the demonstration. Now I am pushing on the key pin to set the jean into the countermailing. Now we get into a false set. If there was finger pins in the lock, they should start binding now and you will have to set them each. Now I can start the assisted float picking process. I slowly release tension and let the sidebar spring pressure counter-rotating the plug. At the same time, I continuously tap on the pin. At some point, when the plug has counter-rotated far enough, the jean becomes free from the countermailing. I can now feel the pin going deeper in its chamber. This means I set it. This may look easy, but with a fully pinned Asatwin 6000, this is a completely different level of difficulty. I wish you good luck if you go down this path. Now I will show you how to do true float picking. True float picking is for locks without sidebar or any other elements that will counter-rotate the plug for you. You will have to counter-rotate the plug by yourself. Locks that require true float picking include the ASA 700, which is notorious for being one of the most difficult to pick standout pin tumbler. The lock shown here is an ASA 700. I only put one jean inside for the purpose of the demonstration. As you can see, I can completely remove my hand from the tensioner and push on the pins without anything happening. Now, the only way to set the jeans is to perform true float picking. You will need to take a second tensioner and place it in a way where you can easily control rotation of the plug in both directions. Now you can start picking the jean out of the countermailing. Like I showed you before on the Asatwin 6000, you will have to continuously tap on the pin. Using the two tension wrench, you will slowly and carefully counter-rotate the plug to free the jean from the countermailing. If you do it right, you should feel the key pin going deeper in its chamber at some point. This means you set the jean above shear line. Just be careful not counter-rotating too far. It is easy to drop all your pins. So just take your time. It is better to go slow than fast. Of course, there will be a binding order for the jeans, so don't be surprised if you drop some of them while picking another one. You will get them all above shear line at some point. Okay, there you go. That is all I have to teach you about float picking. Now I hope to see some of you master this technique and defeat Maniasa locks. If you have any question, you can always ask me on the Lockpickers United Discord server. Alright, see you next time.